I'm Michaela Days,
I'm Malike.
and we are your hosts at the Once One Nation Soccer Podcast. Today, we have the pleasure of interviewing Samantha Chang. Samantha is a professional soccer player currently playing for one of the top teams in Denmark, HB Køge, and hopefully I pronounced that right. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been acquainted with Samantha for quite a while now. As fellow Canadians, we've spent, many years playing alongside her and against her during our youth. And even currently, Samantha and I are playing in the same league in Denmark right now. So,
So Samantha, thank you for taking the time to speak with us today. We're so excited to welcome you here to share your journey and motivate other aspiring young players. Like, how are you? How are you feeling today?
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show. I think it's great hearing different, players and especially women's players' experiences, coming out of Canada and then, going abroad, which so many of us have to do. And those experiences are so different. So I think it's great to, talk about what we've, all been through and different pathways to get to where we are and how things have been going, stuff like that.
yeah. So to start off, Samantha, can you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey from playing college and then going to professional? And kind of just tell us like the transitioning from going to collegiate play to entering your professional career.
Yeah, so I went to college at the University of South Carolina. I was there for 4.5 years. I absolutely love my time there. Those are some of my best football memories, soccer memories. I'm used to saying football because of Europe. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then yeah, after I had finished my time there, I actually did a fifth year there because I had torn my ACL in high school. So I stayed for a fifth year, but and also had a sixth year option because of COVID, but I thought 6 years was too much. So I decided to go professionally and start looking overseas. And I kind of always knew I was gonna have to go overseas. I did enter the NWSL draft, and there was like a part of me that maybe hoped that I could get drafted, but in the end, it was just like I didn't. So overseas it was, which a lot of us have to do. And yeah, so then I signed a short 6-month contract in Portugal, and then finished there and signed a 2-year contract here in Denmark, where I am currently.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you mentioned tearing your ACL.
Mhm.
Like, how did that injury, or like how did overcoming that injury, like so early in your college career, like shape your approach to soccer and in life?
Yeah, I think it was a huge just milestone that I had to deal with and challenge that I had to overcome. So I tore it right, March of my last year of high school. So I pretty much knew I was going to be out for the whole freshman fall season. So it was kind of nice in a way because I was able to take the pressure off of moving away, playing collegiate soccer, balancing university social life, university school load. So I was kind of really grateful looking back on it because it gave me a chance to focus on not soccer for a little while I was just in the grind of rehabbing from my ACL. And then once I came back, I got cleared to play in the spring of my freshman year. And that spring was really nice because I could just be with the team again and fully practicing. And there was no pressure because there was no real games that meant, nothing was on the line for the games we were playing. So it was nice because I could literally just focus on getting back to myself and playing the way I wanted to be playing. So yeah, and it taught me just to love. I fell in love with the game again, going through the injury because if you've ever been through a long-term injury, everyone knows all you want to do is be on the field. So when I was finally able to be back on the ball, it would just meant everything to me just to even do shooting with the goalkeepers or whatever, just
Mhm.
stuff, simple things that you so easily take for granted in the everyday grind of playing and trying to, get minutes or win games and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I could definitely resonate with that. I also tore my ACL my freshman year, and it was but mine was during season. So it was kind of tough because I was like, damn, it was my freshman year. I just started.
right.
and I have to
I
miss
know.
here again.
I think that's like half of the battle too with like ACLs. I had a roommate who tore hers, same thing, like maybe in like September of our freshman year. So it was nice to also have her to like lean on because like we were both going through the same thing. But I think that's the hardest part about like getting a long-term injury and especially like ACL because it's like you kind of have to let go of like all those expectations of what you thought it was going to look like and what the next year of your life was going to be like. You kind of have to like throw it out the window because like it's gonna look totally different after getting an injury like that.
Yeah, I also had a teammate that tore her ACL like the same time you did, like in high school.
Mhm.
And like we basically had rehab together, and that was nice
Yeah,
to have
yeah,
to do it with, and like or you guys are going through the same thing, so it
yeah,
was nice.
100%.
That was really
Yeah. Yeah, I even ended up I didn't tear my ACL, but I tore my MCL or
Hmm.
sprained it, I think, and I also ended up missing the my freshman year, like literally a week after her.
Oh my
So it was
God.
like, so weird that like we both injured our like got injured our freshman year and like missed out, but at the same time it was like a great way to like for us to just adjust to like new environments, like the training schedules and just getting back into like what the college lifestyle is like.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
yeah, so next question is so like what was your biggest challenge that you think you faced transitioning abroad and like how did you adapt?
Yeah, I think the biggest difference that like I've noticed, other than just like the difference in style of play, which is different, like whatever country you're going to is going to be slightly different and
yeah.
have different like aspects that you need to like adjust to and get used to. So that's like one aspect of it. I think my time in Portugal, like I think language was also a big barrier as well. I'm thankful in Denmark, a lot of people speak English here, but it's just like subtle things, even in a country that where a lot of people speak English. But it was more so like prominent when I was in Portugal because like coaching was in Portuguese. Like I had to have a translator sit beside me, and through every meeting, and it's like such a different like type of like trying to play and like learning because like my head coach spoke broken English, but it was just like if you're trying to impress this coach and get playing time, but he doesn't even speak the same language as you, it's like so hard because you're like, what do I go off of? Like
Yeah.
what other people are telling, like the translator is telling me, like that's all you have to really go off of and trying to like make a personal connection, even though like, you might not speak the same language. So that was like a whole challenge in itself. And even in Denmark here, where coaching is in English, which I'm so thankful for. But like even like in the locker room, like teammates will be speaking in a different language. And like, when you're in college, which is obviously the US, so it's English, everyone's in English, so you can just hop in the conversation and join. But in these other countries, it's like you can't even begin to understand what they're saying. So it's like a different type of like team, I think, dynamics too, when there's different languages. And, my Danish teammates, Portuguese teammates, everyone is so nice, which I'm grateful for because I've heard some pretty bad experience of people like moving abroad and teammates being super like cutthroat and mean, but I've been lucky that all my teammates have been nice. But yeah, it's just like little subtle things that you have to like adjust to when you're in a new like country, literally.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Like, I feel like it's so hard to like connect with players when they speak like a totally different language. Because I feel like I gravitate more to a lot of the internationals on my team because like we can just make jokes and just talk about different things without me having to be like, what did you say? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
that kind of dynamic. So I definitely understand.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really grateful here. We have like a lot of internationals. I think there's like 9 or 10 of us. So it's a lot. So I'm so happy because we kind of have like, yeah, our own like little group, to lean on if we ever need it. And in Portugal, there was less of us, but still, like, I'm so grateful for the girls that were there because I would not have survived if like, not for those girls, like literally. So yeah, thankful for all my internationals that I've met overseas.
Well, I actually agree because on my team in France, I'm literally the only international. All the other girls are French, and I speak a decent amount of French, but it's just like when it's a group setting,
Mhm.
it's just a lot going on, and then it's hard for me to even try to like put an input in. So it's like hard to like, form that connection with them.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah,
I've heard that so much.
yeah.
Like I have someone that I know that plays in Spain too and is like the only international there. So anytime I talk to like girls that are leaving college and they ask me like, "Oh, what should I know?" I'm like, "You need to look up if there's internationals there because
Yeah.
your experience will be significantly better even if there's just like one other international because like when you're alone it's so like isolating.
So hard.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so true.
Mhm.
It definitely does like make you challenge yourself and like actually put yourself out there. Because
Yeah.
I'm not the type of person to really do that much. I'm just like myself and stuff. But yeah, it definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone and to like actually communicate in French. And my French has gone a lot better too. So
Yeah.
that's a plus. So
Yeah, that's the thing like I actually liked about being in Portugal is I was like learning a new language because, in everywhere was Portuguese. No one spoke English, like grocery stores. So I had to learn, which I actually enjoyed because I felt like when I leave this place, like I'll leave with something. While like here in Denmark, everyone speaks English. And hopefully we're gonna start some Danish lessons soon, like a few of us, but like I'm like I can't live here for like a year or two and not know anything, Like I need to learn some of the
yeah,
language. Like
I'm
I
like
can't
the
just like rely on the English.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you tried? Do you understand some words like when they speak in Danish?
Like sometimes like some words are really similar, surprisingly.
Yeah.
So like I'll be like, "Oh, you're talking about this." And they'll be like, "How did you know that?" And I'm like, "Well, you said this word, which is pretty much the same English word." So I think
Yeah.
that that's nice, but God, the pronunciation is impossible. Like it's
It is so
impossible.
hard. Oh
Ugh,
my God,
so
it's
even when
hard.
I try and like say stuff, it's like they goes right over their head. They're like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like
I feel like we can't like I just feel like we're not physically capable of pronouncing our words that way. Like
I
I don't even know how to
agree.
explain it.
Like they're
So
like, oh, it sounds like there's like a potato in your mouth is how you have to like talk and it's
yeah.
like lots of tongue. Like I'm just,
Yeah,
it's
it's like
not.
it,
It's really hard. You,
yeah.
yeah.
um
Oh.
did I pronounce the your team name right?
It's actually like pronounced HB Køge. Like,
Oh.
so if you were to spell it in like English, it'd be like Ker kind of. Because like they don't pronounce the G really, and then the O sound is like a sound, so it's like HB Køge.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay.
But yeah, so
So you said that you played 6 months in Portugal and then now you're playing in Denmark. Um, have you noticed like any differences, like playing wise, culture wise?
yeah, I think a big thing with the playing that I tell people because obviously they're really curious to know like what was it like or all that. In Portugal, I feel like it was real well like in like America, which you guys can probably say too, like it was really physical, like fast and everyone you had to be really fit to like play and be successful. In Portugal, I think there was a lot of the players were really technically sound and like they're individual. Some of the girls I was playing with, I'm like, you're like Neymar, like you, like the stuff they were doing and the creativity. I'm like, wow, this is like cool, amazing to see. So that was cool, but then it led to like, in the league games and stuff, I thought that the games were a lot more individual as well because the teams like relied a bit more on like individuals doing things to like make goals happen or whatever. So it was less tactical compared to here in Denmark. I find it's like really tactical more than like the US too. I think like no matter what team you're on, like top of the table or bottom of the table, everyone tries to like keep some sort of possession and like try and build up. While even like in the US, like most of the teams in my league would just like kick it and run. So I like being in a league where, especially as a midfielder too, like it's not just like in the air over my head all the time, and there's some like team tactics and like structure to it. So I've enjoyed that about being in Denmark, and it's yeah, each country's like so different.
Yeah, that's nice that you get like a good experience of like tactical and like really technical
Yeah,
environment. So that's good to have just like in your like back pocket, you know?
Yeah, I've definitely like learned so much too in each one. Like in the US, like before I went to the US, I like was notorious for like never heading the ball. But in college, like my coach made sure I was gonna hit the ball. So like I learned to head it. And then one time I came home for summer and played with my like team back home in Canada. And my coach was like, well, you hit the ball now? And I was like, yeah, I had to. So that was funny. And then yeah, like Portugal, just they're so free there. And then here in Denmark, it's yeah, more like team and structure. So I've learned so many like things in each like country that I've been in. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's really nice.
Mhm.
Did
And
you
oh, go ahead.
did you play in Champions League with Kerr, right?
Yeah, we played in like the knockout rounds before. There's like a bunch of rounds for
Yeah.
Champions League, but it's like we played in the round that's like two rounds before it's like group stage, a round, and then we played in the one before that. So yeah.
Like what was that like experience like for you? Like that was your first time playing?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. It was definitely like just a dream because I had grown up like my older brother is a huge soccer fan, so he, watched Barcelona all the time and Liverpool. And he's turned me into a Liverpool fan too. So I've just like watched so much Champions League like growing up, and I'd be like in class in high school with like my phone in my like desk, like watching games. So just to like hear the anthem or even just like simple like on game day we had like the Women's Champions League logo in the corner, and I was lucky to be like the face of that game day picture. So it was just like, wow, this is amazing. An amazing experience. And we didn't go as far as we wanted to go, but I think that gives us extra motivation to like do well in our season now so that come the fall we're like in it again and like ready to redeem ourselves pretty much.
Yeah, no, I'm waiting to just experience that. I feel like that'd be so cool just to even be in Champions League. I feel like that's just one of
Yeah.
the kind
And
of
it's just crazy because like you never know, you don't know what team you're going to come up against because like each league the level is so different. Like even like 2 years ago, whatever, like Benfica played Barcelona, and when I was in Portugal, Benfica's like the best team by far, and then they go to Champions League and they lose like 5-0 to Barcelona, and you're like, wow, there really is like
Different.
levels to this,
Yeah.
So it's so crazy. You never know, like who knows like who you'll come up against and what they're going to be like even, you can scout them, but it's like, you know, we could go play in house league teams and, do well. So it's like hard to know, like,
Yeah.
okay, dominate their league, but like, how's their league? So it's like so hard to know when it comes to Champions League. So yeah.
Yeah, I get that. It's crazy.
Mhm.
So playing for one of the top teams in Denmark, how do you stay on top of your game every day? Do you have like game day, what's the word? Sorry.
Routine, like a game
Game
routine.
routine. Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, I think a big thing I've been doing like this since I got back from like Christmas break has just been keeping like a training journal has helped me a lot. Like just at the start of the year, I like had some goals of like what I wanted to improve on, and then every day before training, like I write. It's not sometimes I forget, but most days I'm writing in my like journal like stuff I want to focus on. So like if I want to work on like scoring more goals in the league, or I want to score more goals in the league, then it's like, okay, training today, I'm gonna like really focus on my finishing, or like I need to have at least like two good finishes in our like, small-sided games today, or whatever, like really specific goals so that it doesn't like you just make it more manageable to like track like how you're doing and if you're like developing because you're setting these like small goals for yourself, and then hopefully at the end of the season it'll like pay off. But I think that's been helping me keep like consistent track of how I'm doing. And then just yeah, like routine wise, I think I do pretty much the same thing I've always done. I like will just go like roll out in the gym on a game day, and I'll always have like my headphones with me playing music, and just kind of like being in my own little world about what I want to like focus on. And then I always like have my music on, tying my shoes, and then I'll like put my left shoe on before my right shoe, and the left side like goes first kind of thing. And yeah, that's kind of like the main game day routines I do. Yeah, I try and keep it like consistent so that I'm able to like just keep that part stable, even when like, regardless of who you're playing or, if it's a championship game or an exhibition game, you're still like doing the same like patterns and it's normal for you. So
I like how you mentioned about doing like the training journal because I also started doing that this year and I've seen such a like big difference of how I can stay a lot more locked in training and actually see the consistency or my consistency like throughout the week. Yeah, so
yeah, exactly.
I mean not sure. That is really helpful.
Yeah. No,
Really,
it is. It's so helpful. And yeah, yeah, like you said, it's so good to like lock in and because
yeah,
it's so easy to let like a practice, oh, it's just another day, it's just another
yeah,
practice. But doing the training journal helps you like, okay, what am I gonna like get out of it today?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of do that too because I feel like sometimes I'll get so like, oh, it's just another day, another practice. But like once I actually started writing down things that I wanted to focus on, I was more like into the trainings and like I just focused so much more. And I felt like it helped me even work even harder to like just want to be better and like get to that specific goal that I wanted to like accomplish. So
Yeah.
I really like that journal idea because I do it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it takes like a bit of effort, like remembering to do it and making
yeah,
time to do it too. Like if you have an early session, you kind of have to wake up like 5, 10 minutes earlier to like write it, which makes a big difference at like 6 in the morning. But like it's worth it because you're tracking your progress and getting better.
yeah, yeah. It is a commitment because I do forget sometimes too.
Yeah,
But, Mhm.
exactly.
But yeah. Um, do you have any like is there any advice that you would give to future aspiring athletes that want to play professional soccer?
Yeah, I would just say like it sounds like so cliche, but like dream big and set big goals for yourself. Like if you want to go play in a World Cup one day, like, dream about that and think about that and not only like think big, but set those small goals like how we do with the training journals, like set those small goals to try and, track your progress and maybe one day like hopefully you'll reach that and just like don't let anybody like count your like I heard this quote one time before. It's like don't count yourself, don't let anybody else count you out or something like that. Like so
Yeah.
basically it's like don't let someone tell you like you're not good enough type thing. Like don't count yourself out before someone else does. So it's basically like believe in yourself. Like, a lot of times like we have these like external pressures and expectations on us. And, I think my coach wants me to do this, so I have to do this. But it's like, or my coach thinks I'm, only good at shooting or only good at defending. And it's like, you don't have to be in someone's box of who you are. Like, you can be whatever player you want to be. And, just because if you've had like failures in the past or been cut from a team before, like that doesn't mean you'll still succeed. I think like every successful player has some story of not making a team or missing minutes in a game or a tournament. So I think it's just like not letting those moments of like hardship get you down because like and not letting it like affect how you see yourself, Like I've always struggled with like self-confidence and like self-belief at times. And I think a part of me wishes I was just like delusional and like thought I was like the best player to ever like play football. But I'm not like that. And I think sometimes you can maybe lean a little more to the delusional side and just like so wholeheartedly like believe in yourself and what you have to offer and your strengths. Um, and hopefully you'll surround yourself with people that believe in you, but you got to believe in yourself first, if anyone else is going to. So I think that, yeah, dream big and believe in yourself is like the main two things that I would say.
No, yeah, those are
Yeah.
really important. Like confidence, believing in yourself, that would
Mhm.
really separate you from like so many other people. Like if you just have that, and then when you have the talent as well, like it just takes you even further. So I really
Yeah,
think those things are so important.
yeah,
And
exactly.
and just to learn from like those times that you face hardships or you're feeling less confident. I feel like you should just take a moment and really think about, oh, why am I not feeling confident? Or
Mhm.
what did I learn from oh, not making the team or not starting that game, like what do I need to do better? I think you can learn a lot from just those moments, and it will kind of just like help you improve mentally
Yeah.
mentally a lot too. So
Yeah. And I think like, yeah, every challenge has like a different, something to teach you. And that's like also hard to realize in the moment of going through hard things. And, even now, like I still struggle with that going through hard things is like staying, putting things in perspective and understanding like the bigger picture and that like you've probably gone through something similar before and you've overcame it to be where you are. So, you have the tools, but it's just like reminding yourself
yeah,
of what
yeah,
you've done or, similar situations and how you got out of it and trying to like actively, yeah, work against those like thoughts of like self-doubt and like all that.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. You
I
do have
definitely,
to remind
yeah.
yourself. Yeah, you do. You
Well,
really
I definitely feel like every athlete like deals with the issues of confidence and self-doubt. And I feel like over the years I've just learned to like your point about being delusional. I feel like I've had to learn to do that and just like always talk positive because I feel like when you're always doing like positive self-talk, it really helps you to believe like you are actually good enough. Like even though like your coach can say, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that." I feel like you should take it as more of like motivation, like
Right.
to like prove the coach wrong or like
Yeah, definitely. And that's the thing I've learned too, like being so many different places and being under so many different coaches, like every coach is going to want something different. Like, so, you just have to focus on the reasons of like why you are where you are and like stay true to those things and remind, like you said, be positive towards yourself and like remind yourself of those things. And even in Portugal, like so it was my first professional contract. This coach that was in there was actually English, but he got fired a month into me being in Portugal. So I had like a coaching change, first professional contract, coaching change a month into being there. And then a whole new coach came in who was Portuguese and wanted something completely different. And it's like, that was like super scary because it's like, oh my gosh, what the heck's gonna happen now type thing. But, I just went back to like, okay, even though this coach didn't bring me in, like, why did that coach bring me in? Like, what are the strengths that I have? And like, there's something to offer, even like this coach, even though he's slightly different. Like, if you're playing like the top of your game, there's some coaches that just might not like what you have to offer. And then you might have to be flexible and adjust and bring out some other sides of your game. But like, overall, the core strengths of who you are as a player are going to apply to like any coach. So it's just about making those strengths work under the coach that you're in because like I said, they all want something different, play different formation, have different styles. So it's just finding a way to make what you have shine under the
true.
circumstances.
yeah.
True. That is
Yeah,
so
really good point.
Yeah.
Do you have any like goals or aspirations that you want to accomplish like before you end your like professional career?
Yeah, I think my goal always ever since I was like young was to play for Canada like in a major tournament, like hopefully both Olympics and World Cup. But that's my goal at the end of the day. And even when I was injured with my ACL, like that was always like, so before I injured my ACL, I also had gotten cut from like a U20 team when I was 18, so I was technically young for the age group, but still like,
Yeah.
getting
yeah.
cut from a team is awful. So
Yeah.
I got cut from the team and then I tore my ACL. So I was like rock bottom, like, and just when I was through in my rehab, I just like kept telling myself, like, I want to play for Canada again. I just want to play for Canada. And that was like the main goal in the back of my mind. Like, yes, I wanted to, be healthy and play for South Carolina, but like that was like the big goal in my mind. And then in 2020, I went and I got chosen for a team to go play at a U20 CONCACAF. And like that was just like meant everything to me. And that's when I like really realized that like you can do anything if you set the right goals and you work hard. Cause that's what happened in that situation. Like every day I was in rehab, I was like, I just want to play for Canada. I'm
Yeah.
going to play for them again. Like went through a hard college season, but ended up getting called in. And so it's just like that just has always been like my number one. And being called into like the senior team in 2021, it was so totally unexpected. Like I did not think that was going to happen at all. Like when I got the call, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll come. I'm ready. But it was so unexpected. So, and just getting that taste like when I was young and when it was unexpected just like makes me want to be there even more now because like I got one camp luckily and unexpectedly as well, but it just makes me want more and makes me want to like wear the badge. And I think that that's like the highest like honor and privilege that you can have playing like soccer is representing your country and, being a role model and inspiration to like younger girls like in Canada, like all of that. Just like even when I got my cap, like a mom messaged me on Instagram and was like, I just want to say like congratulations. Like my daughter, like she's half Asian, just like you. And she saw like, Chang on getting subbed in and she was like, oh my gosh, like that's somebody that looks like me and like has a name like mine. And that just meant the world to me too, because like I'm such a big like supporter and believer in visibility and making sure that everyone gets a platform and is able to, be a face for those like younger generations to see. So yeah, I just like I would love to get back to that level and get back to that team and continue to like inspire so many like young girls. And yeah, that's what makes me feel like most fulfilled is like inspiring other like young girls to play and be confident and believe in themselves. So I definitely want to get back to that. And yeah, we'll see what my path is like that leads me there. But yeah, that's definitely like the big goal in my mind is go to
Yeah.
like an Olympics or World Cup with them.
Oh, I really love that. I really love that.
Yeah,
That's
sorry that was long, but yeah,
Sorry,
had to
good. I feel like stories like that is always like a reminder to like never give up on your dreams. Like even though like the destination seems long, like I feel like if you keep working and like it's something that you really want to do, like it'll come to you. Like opportunities will present itself where you'll be able to prove yourself and you know what I'm saying? Like
so
so
true.
like I just feel like I've learned a lot, like never give up on something that you really want. Like even
Mhm.
though it seems hard at the moment, but when the right time comes, like your opportunity will arise, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And even like now, I mean, like I have a teammate here who is also Canadian, like Emma Regan,
Mm.
and she's getting called into camps, and like I've come to peace with it because I'm like, it's her time right now, and it's not mine, and that's okay, like nothing's gonna happen for you before it's supposed to, like you said.
Yeah.
So, it's just about staying. I think it's hard for us girls who go play internationally or sorry overseas because you have to deal with so many other like added like pressures and just like hardships being away from family and different time zones and different languages and like all that. So I think it's hard sometimes to like deal with those challenges like but in the end like it'll all be worth it if you're just like focused on where you are and getting better. It's if it's meant to be for you like one day it will be. So
Okay, yeah, exactly. I really like that point.
yeah.
Um,
um
yeah, go ahead, Kate.
sorry. So you have like quite a bit of experience playing with Canada and representing Canada. How has that impacted like your growth as a player?
I think like it made soccer like a lot bigger for me at a young age, like just traveling with Canada and like you were on some of those trips with
Yeah.
like with me and we went on those together. So I just think it like yeah, it makes it such a bigger perspective like playing for Canada. And I'm like my first time playing for Canada was when I was like 14 and you don't really know what that means.
Yeah.
I wasn't even in high school yet when I first played for Canada. So like I didn't really understand what that meant, but I just knew the like passion behind it, like hearing just like the anthem and like you don't really understand like you can't put in words what it means, but you just like feel the emotion and power of it and know that you're doing something that's like bigger than yourself by playing for Canada. So I think it just made me have that like love for just yeah, being Canadian and playing for Canada and yeah, just feeling like I had a not a responsibility, but knowing that like I was part of something bigger than like myself at that time. You know, even though you're young and you're only 14, but it's just like cool to meet people from all over and you know across the country and see like what they're like. And I think it helped me just have like a bigger, yeah, perspective on what soccer means to other people. And like when we were in Jordan and seeing
Yeah.
Jordan and even like China too, like it's just it's crazy that everybody plays football. Like the whole world plays football and it's beautiful. And I'm so lucky to be able to do this thing that like people would die to like
To the
do in other countries, like so many. So I'm really just, yeah, grateful for like women's football and that we grew up in Canada and we're able to play and just everything.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like before going to Jordan and playing in China, I didn't realize how big it was and like
Yeah.
like I at a young age I didn't realize what I was really doing and not
Mhm.
what I was really doing, but just how big of a moment it was for
Yeah.
me and just playing with Canada. I didn't think I realized how important and how big it was. But now looking back, it's like wow, like I really did that. And
Yeah.
it was just a good like, just a good experience going to
Yeah.
Jordan. Like when are you gonna go to Jordan?
What are you doing in Jordan? Like literally, like I would never go there, but I like, you know, we got to see like such cool
Yeah.
things there that I would have never seen otherwise. So it, yeah, it's amazing like the places that like football has taken me and all of us, like it all over the world and to so many
Yeah,
different countries and yeah, meeting so many different people. Like it's truly is like so amazing.
that is amazing. It is.
Mhm.
I think the one thing I like about soccer is like how it literally takes you like all over the world. Like it brings you to opportunities that you never thought you would ever be in. So
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the one things that I really like about, just playing soccer in general, like of how many different places we can travel to, like the cultures we experience. So that's probably one of the my favorite things about.
It's funny when I talk to somebody who's like not in the soccer world about like what I do, or, you know, or where I've lived and all that. And they just are like jaw to the floor, like, oh my God, that is so cool. Like, and it's like, oh yeah, you're right. Like it is pretty cool. Like, and it just makes you, yeah, so grateful for, yeah, where you've been and the places it's taken you. Cause yeah, it does take you all over the world. Cause yeah, like I said, everyone plays football. So it's so cool to have like that love for something that like millions, if not billions of people have like in this for soccer that we have.
Yeah, I definitely have those moments too when you're talking to someone that doesn't play soccer and they're like, wow, you've been there, you've been. I was like, oh yeah, like yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
don't
you
realize
just so
like yeah,
normal.
it's just so normal to you, but then you're like, oh, it's not really normal to them. But
Yeah, exactly. Like we get paid to just like play soccer. Like that is crazy. That's
Oh,
crazy.
literally,
And I
yeah.
think like my brother and like my boyfriend, they're huge football lovers, like lovers, and it's helped me love the game even more because they're always watching, and so I'm always watching too with them, enjoying it. And it's like it puts in perspective to me when they're like, "You're literally living both of our dreams." Like our dreams like playing football, like we are living through you like playing football, like, and it's just like, oh, you're right. Like so when I have those hard days, like I have to just zoom out and think like, no, like I still love this, like even playing for I don't even know how many years, probably like almost 20 years of my life playing football, like but it's like it still is like something that I enjoy doing. And I feel like most myself when I'm like on the field playing and just like everything else doesn't matter like when
Yeah.
you're in game and you
Yeah.
know or at like a really tough practice, you know. So it's like it just like it does like feel like home. And I think that that's how like so many of us get by playing overseas away from everyone we know because we have this thing that like we can lean on and like go back to.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I definitely understand like every time like even if I'm going through something like at the moment, but as soon as I like touch on the field, like I forget all about it. And then once the game is over, I'm happy. Like I forget that I went like I was going through something or whatever. Like I feel like that's like the beautiful thing about soccer as well is like how it can really like, change your mood or just make you forget about what's going on in your life at that moment.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Is there anything you do like outside of soccer? Like outside of practice?
Yeah, I think tearing my ACL actually really made me like get into some hobbies because I realized like if I'm not gonna, because like I said, soccer makes me feel like myself,
Yeah.
and if I can't play soccer, then I need to have some other things that make me happy and like that I like doing. So I got back into like reading when I was injured, and I also because when I was younger I loved to read, but then in high school and middle school you just busy with life and I kind of didn't. But then when I was injured, I got back into it and kind of fell in love with that again. And I also in college, I would paint a lot. So I like to paint. I had a roommate that was super creative and she loved to paint too. So we would like have paint like nights together and paint. And that was really amazing to like as well. And yeah, I'm just like I like crafts, any crafts I'm into.
Mhm.
And I like other sports, but it's kind of hard to do some of those, like when we're tired or,
Yeah.
trying to recover or rest for a game or something. But I like in high school, I played a lot of different sports and I loved it. Like, loved it. And I also ski and I snowboard. And yeah, so I love sports, but it's hard to make time for those other
Yeah.
sports sometimes because of our job is to be an athlete. So
No, I agree because I went golfing the other day for the first time. I was like, wow, this is so fun, even though I was so bad. I was so bad.
I know I like golfing is so fun. My families are big on golf. So I actually went like 2 weeks ago with some girls here to just like the driving range and
Oh, wow.
it's just fun to play another sport and
Yeah,
like appreciate what those athletes do too, because like it
Yeah.
is so hard.
I agree. Just to do something different outside of soccer. I think it's good to kind of just step away from soccer sometimes and try something new, just for fun, you know?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you like need to. And I think that that's the biggest thing I've with being professional as well. That's taken me a bit to like realize, but in college like you're busy with school a lot so you can't like you're distracted and
Yeah.
but when you're professional like literally go to training and I come home and it's like noon. I have the rest of the day to do nothing. So it's like you need to have hobbies. Like you need to have things that you enjoy. You can't just like sit on the couch all day. So
Yeah.
you need to have other things like that you're doing. And even like I started coaching here just like on the side to, and it fills my time nicely. And I get to like give back to the girls here and pass on some of the things I've learned. So that's been like fun for me to like fill my time with. But yeah, you definitely need to have like other your life can't just be soccer. Like I'm a big soccer fan, but it can't just be soccer. Like you have to have some other things too.
Yeah.
I
I
definitely.
think, yeah, I definitely agree because I feel like we must have realized we have so much time like on our hands. So we were like, let's just start a business. So we actually like started a little sunglasses business and
Yes.
it's nice just not having to think about soccer sometimes and then you can just think about stuff about your business and like how you want to do this and that. So it's made the days go by a lot faster, especially. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. And yeah, like even in a similar way, I've like thought about going back to school and maybe doing like a master's or something. Because even though I do have other hobbies, I'm like I need to be using my brain a little bit. Like, so I feel like that's why the business thing is nice for you guys because you're like organizing and planning and like
Yeah.
using your brains. Like, and sometimes I'm like I need to read because I haven't used my brain for like the past two
Yeah.
days. So
Yeah, I have those moments too. I'm like, hey, let me just go read or something. Like, I'm tired of
use
Netflix,
this thing.
watching movies. I'm just so over it. So I'm like, let's read.
Literally.
Yeah, that's literally our life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So funny. But I think that's all the questions we have for today. I just want to thank you for taking the time to be on the One Soccer podcast. And yeah,
Yeah, thank you guys so much. It was a great conversation and I'm always happy to talk to like fellow Canadians about, their experiences and yeah, share my story for people, even if like one person learns like one thing or takes one thing away, like I'm happy. So I appreciate you guys like doing the interview and setting it up and all that.
no problem. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, guys, I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you again.
Thank you. Good luck on the rest of the season.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. You guys too.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.